Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me here today for this end-of-session news conference. And I just want to say, before I begin, I want to express my gratitude for the opportunity to meet on the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, to reaffirm the Green Party's commitment to the truth and reconciliation process, and to also say thank you to the Chiefs of Ontario for raising concerns about the government's lack of consultation on Bill 23, the government's housing legislation, which significantly affects land development in this province and the treaty lands of First Nations peoples. And I just want to say to the government that it's completely inappropriate and against the reconciliation process to concede that you failed to consult and then say you're going to consult after legislation is passed. And I hope we don't see that moving forward with this government or any government in Ontario. So today's an opportunity to take stock of the first fall, let's say summer and fall sitting of the new parliament and the new government. And without a doubt, and nobody's going to be surprised, that I'm extremely disappointed of what transpired in this legislature during the summer and fall sittings. Everything from Bill 7, which is a slap in the face to our elders who've experienced so much over the pandemic, the measly 5% increase offered to people on ODSP, which will still keep people on social assistance in legislated poverty. The government's attack on the Greenbelt, environmental protections, the people and places we love in this province is unacceptable. We simply cannot continue to lose 320 acres of farmland each and every day in this province. We can no longer pave over our wetlands that protect us from flooding and protect our drinking water. We have to, in this province, get past the false choice between tall and sprawl and actually build the infill and missing middle housing that we need in Ontario. The government's complete disregard for the healthcare crisis that we're facing in this province, and the fact that the government has the audacity to appeal the court's decision on Bill 124 is just another slap in the face to nurses and frontline healthcare workers and other public servants who essentially are taking a pay cut given inflation, and especially for our healthcare workers and the health human resource crisis that we're facing with emergency room closures, paramedic backups at hospitals, the overwhelming of pediatric ICUs, and the government's complete almost disregard and denial of the crisis that we're facing, and then to compound that crisis with the appeal of Bill 124 simply is unacceptable. I think the people of Ontario deserve more. They deserve a government that's going to invest in the Ontario that they want, and a government that's going to bring us together to build a future for people in this province. And so I want to say there's been some highlights in this sitting as well. And one of those highlights for me is the mobilization of people power against the worst abuses of this government. And the first being the way in which students and parents and workers across this province united to push back on the government's abuse of the notwithstanding clause to take away the charter rights of working people in this province. And it shows you, the government's backtrack on that within a week, shows you what people power can accomplish in this province. And right now, that same battle is happening with the preservation of the Greenbelt. I'm so proud and I'm so inspired by all the people across this province mobilizing to push back on the Premier's breaking multiple promises not to touch the Greenbelt for development, to protect farmland, to protect wetlands and green space, to protect the places we love in this province. And I'm also proud of the fact that not only have the Ontario Greens been leading that citizen mobilization, that mobilization of people power against the province, but I'm also proud of Bill 44 and Bill 45, which I introduced in the legislature during this sitting, actually on National Housing Day, that Bill 44 would end exclusionary zoning in this province so we could build gentle density with fourplexes and walk-up four-story apartments in neighborhoods across Ontario, so we can actually build homes that people can afford in the communities they want to live in, close to where they work, without paving over our farmland. And I'm proud of Bill 45, which would make it possible, again, as of right, to build mid-rise apartments along major transit and road corridors of 6 to 11 stories. These are the kinds of true housing affordability solutions the people of Ontario need, and that can deliver affordable communities where people can actually afford to live where they want to, in the communities they want to live in, close to where they work, close to the shops that they want to support, instead of paving over the Greenbelt. And finally, I want to make a closing statement in regards to a column that was published yesterday in the Toronto Star. And I want to be clear to people. I'm proud to be the leader of the Ontario Green Party. I'm proud of the fact that we lead the charge on so many issues. The first party to call for doubling of ODSP and OW rates in the province. The first party to call for mental health services to be available through OHEB. A party that delivered a masterclass plan to solve the housing affordability crisis in this province. The party that's leading the charge to push back against the Premier's efforts to open the Greenbelt for development. And I'm proud of that. And I will continue to lead that charge. And I believe I'm best positioned to lead that charge as a leader of the Ontario Green Party. And I have no plans to run for leader of the Liberal Party. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.